welcome everybody. I'll hand over the program to Kala to host our event for tonight from Lusaka. Kala, you take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Sunil. Good evening, everyone. Namaste.
Hold on, let me just make sure everybody's on mute before. Otherwise, you'll get interference. Yeah, if you can unmute yourself, Kala. Yeah.
Okay, now much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we start the program, I have a couple of acknowledgements. Zambia Lounge, the program itself, is set up with a group of admin people. And I'd like to mention these people because I think despite the fact that you don't see us, the whole group works quite hard to put this program together. So there's Aarti, I'm going to say your name American style, Aarti. So Aarti Mekhan, excuse me if the pronunciation is wrong. So Aarti Mekhan and Daksha Patel from US, Urmila Taylor and Sunil Vilas from the UK, and myself in Lusaka, Zambia. So this is a team that puts the program together monthly, and in their own way, they do various jobs. But a special mention to Aarti for always organizing the entertainment and bringing the singers forward. And I also like to thank, well, we all like to thank the singers for bringing a bit of spice to the program. So thank you very much, all the singers that come forward and, you know, present themselves and their beautiful songs and everything. Thank you very much. Today, I'd also like to mention that we have an interview with Piyush Patel, who's a COVID survivor. And I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion with him, and it'll be helpful to everybody else. So we're going to start the program off with Rita Nayak. Rita Nayak with the slok. Rita Nayak.
You're on mute.
Namaste.
Om Bhurbhuvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Today I'm trying to sing one Zambian gospel song. It is sung by Nathan Yerenda Chikondi, and the short meaning of this song is all about love. It says that the love is not about jealousy or to be seen that you are giving, but it should be genuinely embraced. If you give somebody or some poor some money, but if you don't have love, you are no one. If you speak the tongues of angels, but if you don't have love in your heart, you're no one. I hope you'll enjoy this. Inga pa se chuma changa usa ukaon se kumanga liliwechi kundi inendi liwa chape. Inga pa se chuma changa usa kaon se kumanga nilibechi kundi ine Chikondi Chililira Chikondi Sichizikweza Chikondi Chilibetsanje Chikondi Chitipopa Ingapa Kumanga Nandi Angelo Kumanga Nilibechi Kundi Inindi Liwa Chabe Inga Kambe Malini Me Kumamba Nandi
Back. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to introduce Piyush Patel. Piyush Patel, you're there? Piyush?
You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Hi. Hello, Piyush. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you all?
Okay.
All
Can
fine.
you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well,
Where are you from originally, where you are now?
right. Originally, I was in Andola. I was born in Lusaka, but I think my mom and dad moved to Andola, and that's where I was brought up until my school years. And then I moved to UK in 1985, and I've been here ever since. For those who are in Lusaka, they'll know me better if I mention my Aja, Hasjibai Jivanji BVs Limited. He was my grandfather.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And like
Okay,
I
and
said,
then
I've
what-
been here.
What do you do?
I work for Lancashire County Council. I have been, well, you could call it local government. I've been with them as part of the IT department's accounts. I've been there, I've been working there since 31 years. I'm still in the same place. I think I'll be retiring there eventually.
Oh, wow. Okay, so explain to us, tell us about your experience with COVID.
Right. Last year, they announced lockdown. I think it was around 20th March or something like that. And at that time, I was fine. But in the last week of March, I started getting, it was a cough, but I was producing mucus. So they call it, I think they classified it as a productive cough. So at that time, people were saying that if you have a dry cough or a temperature, you've got COVID. And I didn't have any of those as far as I was aware. I had a sort of a productive cough. So, but nonetheless, I'd already started to work from home because the lockdown was in place. So, like I said, we're working from home, but even then I couldn't concentrate. I was just coughing a lot. The doctor sort of did a session over the phone for a video link because they wouldn't come out to the house because they wouldn't, and nor could I go to the surgery. And in the end, they thought it may well be a chest infection. So I was prescribed some strong antibiotics and I think the blue asthma inhaler, the steroid inhaler, to help me sort of open up the lungs. But unfortunately, none of that seemed to make any difference. And on the 4th of April, I had to say to my son, I said, look, I'm not feeling well. As much as I don't want to go to hospital, I didn't have a choice. I had to make that decision. And we called 999. And the ambulance arrived and the guys, the two paramedics came up and they took some readings and then instantly sort of decided that I had to go in. I think they more or less confirmed that I had COVID. I don't know how, without any tests, but they did. But they said, no, we're going to have to take you in. I think my oxygen levels were very, very low. But that was the moment everything started really kicking off. The anxiety was setting in because I didn't know. I know that they didn't allow any visitors. And normally when you take somebody to the hospital, you either ride in the ambulance or you follow them to the hospital. But in my case, I knew very well that nobody could come to the hospital because no visitors were allowed. Anyway, so they took me to the hospital, and after that, they just started series of tests. They put in a blood line in. They catheterized me because they didn't know what was going to happen. And eventually they put on the hood. I think you may well have seen them. It's like it's almost like one of these new water bottles, you know, that we use in the office. And they just said, look, yeah, I think they did test me for COVID then, and they eventually came and said, yes, I did have COVID. But they said because my oxygen levels were very poor, they said I needed to go into ICU. And I was taken straight into ICU. And I think, yeah, on the 5th, the following day, they turned around and they said that it wasn't sustainable. I needed to be ventilated and sedated. And that was it. I think Sunil Bhai will know. I think my sister and I, in fact, too, Bina and Pinku, they both went on ventilator, and unfortunately, they didn't make it through. So all these thoughts were really coming around, you know, and developing big time. But I was still coughing, even after with the hood on, I was still coughing, and they were doing all sorts of tests. But I think when they told me that I had to go on the ventilator, I could, you know, I just said, do what you have to do. I didn't have a choice. And eventually I could hear them preparing all the equipment behind me. I can't remember exactly when they said they were gonna sort of put me to sleep, but all I remember was having a countdown. I don't think I went 5. Yeah, I don't think I even got to 5, and that was it. Lights were out completely. And the next thing I remember, a month later, the nurse trying to wake me up. So I was on the ventilator for 30 days, as far as I'm aware. But after that, it was all about rehabilitation, you know, slowly coming around. I know they did a tracheostomy because that's the only way they could I'm not sure what the reasons are for a tracheostomy. I didn't ask. But during the time I was on the ventilator, I've undergone several kidney dialysis. They were even thinking of possibly shifting me to another hospital in Manchester, but I think they probably thought somebody made that decision that I wasn't strong enough to be taken over to Manchester. So they just carried on treating me. I think they asked the family several times for trialing me on dexamethasone. You probably heard about it. And I think that may well have tipped me over the edge in the end. But I tell you something, the staff at the hospital were incredible. I even had a nurse singing mantras Om Namah Shivaya to me. I never heard it, but she said it. Yeah. But the worst part of all this is that the family couldn't come in because the hospital was closed to all visitors. I don't know if they ever did any videos of me while I was on the ventilator. No, they didn't. So for them, for me, as far as I was concerned, I was just sleeping. I didn't know what was going on. It's the family that were going through, you know, through all the turmoil. But while I was in hospital, my father was taken in as well. So my sons had a lot on their plate while you know, in that month, because both me and both my father and me were both in at the same time. But my father managed to.
In the video that I saw, you also mentioned you were in a lot of pain.
I was in a lot of pain whilst I was awake. And of course, during the time the coughing was there, yeah. But once they put you to sleep, you don't feel anything. You know, you don't realize what's going on. The only time you start experiencing pain again is when I was coming around, and I was still coughing even then. You know, but they've said that wasn't COVID. That was just part of the recovery process. But the pain after the pain after that was that I couldn't as I said in my video, I was totally dependent on the medical staff. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even eat properly. They had to spoon feed me.
When you say pain, you
for a
mean
long
like,
time.
when you say pain, you mean the whole body ache, or was it a
No,
different
just
sort
the
of pain?
chest. The body
just
wasn't
the chest.
hurting, just the
Right.
chest, because they're coughing so much. You know, it was
Gotcha.
fits. It was almost like an asthma attack. But this, I don't have any other medical conditions. I'll tell you
Right.
that. As I
Piyush,
said,
I'm a
the
pharmacist, so that's why I was
right.
just wondering. You know, I mean, well,
Yeah.
everything they did seems to point to the right direction of taking care, obviously,
Yeah.
but nobody knows how this thing works. You know, at that
No, well,
time
this
too.
is it. I think I was at the
Yeah.
mercy of them. They didn't
Yes.
know, how to treat COVID at the time.
Absolutely.
So, but like I said, they eventually got me through, and here I am. 1 year. Last year, I was in hospital in a rehab center, trying to learning to walk. I had to learn to walk. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't even write because my hands were
Wow.
shaking so much.
Well, you're blessed. Let me tell you
Yeah.
that much. And
So-
Well, I think it's the prayers. All the prayers
Yeah.
that were being said worldwide. It's incredible. I'm so humbled. The number of people who have
Sure.
said that they've sang all sorts of things. But
So I have a different question for you. You know.
go on. Yeah.
So after all this experience, how do you see the outlook of life from your point of view? You know, how are you looking at the world?
Yeah.
How does your thoughts change?
It's a second lease of life, obviously,
Sure.
because I was very, very close to going on a number of occasions when I was on the ventilator. But unfortunately, I'm still carrying on as normal, still working, still doing what I normally do. I'm back to where I was, more or less, before the COVID attack.
Wonderful to hear.
Good to see you.
But
Good
I
to hear.
guess the toll
Do you
really
feel
goes to...
energized because, yeah.
Sorry, I was just asking, but the toll
Sorry.
must be really with the family, because the emotional things they must have
Yes.
gone through must be quite intense. So like you say, you were knocked out, you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they're the ones who were literally waiting. They were making calls, or they had to rely on the hospital ringing them up to tell them of any progress or what the status was. And as I said, there were a number of times when they really had to brace themselves for the worst, because that's what they were told.
Did they ever find out how and where you got the coronavirus from? How you contracted
I've
it?
been asked that question, but I have no idea. It could have been when I was before lockdown. I was in the shops. It could have been somebody who, we didn't have, so there was social distancing before lockdown, but
Sure,
not everybody observed it. It could have been when I went to fill up the car. I could have put it at the petrol pumps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But Piyush, do you feel any weakness or anything like that from that still?
Unfortunately, there are ongoing tests with the chest clinic, and I do get breathlessness, but it's not as bad as other people that I know of who really struggle. I can walk up the stairs, but the moment I carry something, my breathlessness gets worse. They're working on it, but whether that will go in time. I know they said there was scarring on the lungs when they did the CT scan, so they haven't done one recently. Whether that scarring has improved, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
What sort of, did they give you?
And are there any meds that you have to take?
Well, the only medication I've been currently, they put me on high blood pressure. I didn't take high blood pressure before I had the attack. But I'm trying to wean myself off. I think Pratish Missy will know that I was on pregabalin. That was for my nerves. My nerves were shot completely.
Right. Yeah.
And the pregabalin, I've only just stopped.
Right. Yeah. So that's for like neuropathy and nervous pain as well. And obviously, when you're nervous, your blood pressure does increase, your anxiety levels doesn't make breathing easy, So by calming you, they're obviously trying to make use of your, basal breathing and try and make you calm so that you can utilize the oxygen which you do have in the system, at its best potential, So, but yeah, I know it's right now. It's every clinic, every emergency ward. They're trying different things. It's all an experiment. It's like it's a live trial type of thing, you know, of a drug
Yeah.
or a regime that you're trying to use and establish, you know, to find out what is the best way of treating.
Yeah, I feel for the medical staff who still came into the hospital knowing that they could take it back to their families.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest sacrifice they've made for humanity.
Yeah, they're fighting an invisible war. That's what it comes down to, because they can't see COVID.
True.
So this is why all these precautions. When I still go out, I still see people flouting the rules. You know, they think that wearing a mask isn't necessary, but it is necessary, if only to prevent giving the virus to somebody else.
Yeah, you have shown a great reason for the validity of wearing a mask. Such a simple thing, you know.
Yeah.
And yet,
so that's what I wanted to say to you, Piyush. Sorry, that is one thing I wanted to say to you, that from your experience, and you know, what is it that you want to put out there to people? Because I think everybody thinks it's just something that's happening in the wind, but they don't realize the gravity of the situation. So what is it that you want to say to people out there? What is it that they should be taking care of? Like you said, wearing a mask. What else?
Wearing the mask, washing hands, that is still a must. I know we keep anti-jab, what do you call these, the sanitizers in the car and everything. As soon as we go shopping and come back, we always sanitize. I think that is important, but more important is the way, like I said, wearing a mask. I know people wear a mask and they don't cover their nose. They might not wear one if that's how they're going to wear a mask. But they don't understand. I think they just don't get it until it actually happens to you, or you know of somebody who's got it. I think my case is pretty rare. A lot of people do have. I mean, I think most of all my family have had COVID, but they've managed to recover over time, and they didn't have to take. I don't think they took any special medication in terms of, you know, they just took paracetamol and they eventually sort of got through it. But why I got it as bad as I did, I don't know. I'll never know.
There is something which they're saying that there is something in the genetic way of in the genes of people is also how they're getting affected. They've found in certain families are getting more affected than other people, you know.
Yeah.
So they are looking at a genetic link as well, which seems to propagate the symptoms a lot more, you know.
Yeah, but as I said, I didn't have any underlying health conditions. I'm not diabetic. I didn't have blood pressure, but now obviously I do. So, but they've always said, haven't they, in the past, that people with underlying health conditions are more vulnerable.
Right. Now, apart from the underlying health conditions, I'm talking about your genetic code, you know, in your body itself, which makes you more prone. Like that's why certain families have become more prone than other people, you know. They're looking into that. There've been statistics to show that, you know.
Yeah.
Could I ask you something? Could I please come in and ask something?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Let Kishore ask question.
I'd like to ask him, you know, while he was under COVID-19 treatment, he mentioned about dialyzing. Now, does he still dialyze or not?
No. I don't that kidney dialysis just at that time. Unfortunately, I do still, COVID does, what COVID does is it accelerates any issues that you may have. So unfortunately, it has affected my waterworks, and I do have to self-catheterize even now, or year on. I don't know when that will ever settle down.
I mean, I have not had COVID-19, but between, you know, now that I am going through a similar process, that's why I'm asking you. Yeah. I do go for dialyzing and everything. Dialyzing. I had to do self-catheterize, but now I'm off it. But the reason I asked is because I do regularly go for dialyzing. Piyush. Right. You might know me well, you might not know, but I am your Ratu Bhai or Ratu Bhai.
Now I know. Of
I'm
course, now I
Rathinal
know.
KG. You know me now?
Yes.
Okay, Niruben and Bagubai's son.
Yes. Now I know who
Okay.
you are.
You are in Preston, I know. We
Yeah.
have met, but now you've grown quite. A lot of time has gone by.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, so-
well, I don't know, Bhupendra, the Bhupendra there is
Oh,
my
yeah, I know
masa, and
Bhupendra.
my masi is there.
Yeah, Tara and Bhupendra. We went to
Yeah.
Egypt together, so I know. Anyway, nice to meet you, Piyush.
Yeah.
And not nice to talk to you and get your views about this COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
One more question. If you got any more question for Piyush, anybody would like to ask a question to Piyush?
I'd just like to basically say that, it's just, I'm so happy to see you here, in Zambia Lounge, honestly,
Thank
with
you.
what
Thank
you've
you.
been through, it's just wonderful. So you're a cousin of Manoj, apde,
Yes, all cousins.
yeah?
Yeah,
Bina
yes.
Manoj, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
First cousin.
gotcha. Right. Now I remember.
So Chandakan Pai,
Yeah, yes.
he's my mama.
Okay, I got it now. Wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
Can I say what? Piyush Pai, you're very lucky.
Oh yes,
You're very lucky. You're God blessed.
I am very
You've
lucky.
you've got a second life. I understand what a second life is like. So,
have you experienced something similar?
well, as Kishore Bhai just mentioned, dialysis. I was on dialysis for 2.5 years. My kidneys failed. And last 6 years, I've had a transplanted kidney.
Oh, so sorry.
So Kishore Bhai, to you, keep your diet properly. Listen to your health department and just do what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
The best way.
Yeah. The thing with me, with the kidney dialysis that I went through, I have no recollection. I don't understand what pain you must go through when you go on dialysis.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, you are lucky.
You got a question? Hello?
Arvind, you want to say something? Okay.
Okay.
Kala?
Can I ask Pushpa Ben? She's online.
No.
Yeah.
Pushpa Ben.
Yep.
Jai Shri Krishna, everybody.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Pushpa Ben. Hello.
Nice to see you, Piyush. I'm glad you're recovering well.
Yeah. Nice to see you as well.
I'm glad I joined
So,
in today. This is my first time.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, Pushpa Ben.
I'm formerly from Lusaka and Livingston, Zambia. If you know Devdas in Lusaka, I'm Devdas's sister.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody
Devdas
recognize
Bhai,
Devdas?
yes. Yes.
Arvind Bhai and Hansab and Jai Shri Krishna. Yeah, Devdas' sister. I'm from Canada. And we've been here for 30 years. I don't recognize a lot of you people, but I know a couple of you. Dinesh, Goops, Arvind Bhai, and naturally Piyush. And I don't know anybody else. I'm sorry.
Pushpa Bhabi bhuli gaya.
Dinesh Bhai, I just kate bhuli gayi. Tumne bulaya? Nahi bulaya. How are you all? I hope Yashu is fine. Hari besala છે.
તો દેખાડો બચ્ચો બેન.
કેમ છે ઉસ્તાદ?
Alright.
Hello, Bachubai.
Kishore.
Yeah, how are you, man?
Bachubai. Fine, man. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not so bad at all. Sorry to interrupt with the other guy.
No, he's local. I'll talk to him on phone.
Okay, that's good, Bachubai.
How are you keeping?
Yeah, not so bad. Not so bad at all. Thanks.
Sorry, I couldn't see you the last time I was in London.
I know you guys are busy, and we thought you got so many.
Yeah, we're coming for a few days. There's
Yes.
so many relations.
Ana tamari hari, tamara hara hai, tamara bhai hai.
I don't even get to see half of them. So
That's right.
yeah.
Good to see you. Hope to see you again next month. And please continue joining us in our chat show.
I will try.
I would like to bring in any more. Thank you very much. Anybody else new that has come in today? Anybody else?
Maybe me.
Piyush Patel, carry on.
All right. So basically, I'm Moose's elder brother. Do you guys remember Moose?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Lusaka.
Yes, we do.
Lusaka, yeah. So I was also, of course, in Lusaka too, but I left in 71 or 72. Now, one good friend that we have in Leicester is, of course, Piyush Patel, Wali Maseno's son. You guys know him?
Yes, we know Girish.
Yes.
Right. So basically, my dad was Punambai in Lusaka. Now, we used to live in the Mashika area. You remember there was a park? So next to the park is where our house is. So what I did was I studied at Unza. I did my bachelor's there, and then for my master's and PhD, I went to Birmingham, UK. I was there for about 3-4 years, and then I started working in the UK before emigrating to Canada. So we've been here really in Canada for 40 years, but the job that I have allowed me to go to US, to Europe, to Asia, and then finally I just decided to reside here in Singapore. Now, my wife is Panna Patel. Livingston she is also from Livingston.
Okay.
Panna is Kiran's daughter, the Kiran's sister. Kiran Sharat, remember the business હતો Stanley Road ઉપર? Punima Grocers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So Punima, that's it. That's my wife.
Oh, okay. Now, good to hear from you. Netame, keep in touch.
Yeah,
keep in touch.
definitely.
Okay. Can I bring Iqbal in? Iqbal, you're going to sing. There is a special request from Daksha Ben Amin for her brother, Bipin Bhai. Happy birthday, Bipin Bhai, for your birthday today. Iqbal,
Happy
we're going to
birthday.
sing a little song.
And that's my brother too.
100
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we've all joined in.
Yeah, all brothers are here.
Happy birthday.
Sister also.
Iqbal, go ahead.
बार दिन ये आए, बार दिन ये गाए, बार दिन ये आए, बार दिन ये गाए, तू जिए हजारों साल, ये मेरी है आरज़ू। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे to Bipin Bhai, happy birthday to you. बार दिन ये आए, बार दिन ये गाए, तू जिए हजारों साल, ये मेरी है आरज़ू।
Happy birthday to you.
ओहो,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Bipin Bhai,
Happy birthday to you.
फूलों ने चमन से तुझको है सलाम भेजा, फूलों ने चमन से तुझको है सलाम भेजा, तारों ने गगन से तुझको है पैगाम भेजा। दुआ है ये खुदा करे ऐ शौक तुझको चांद की उम्र लग जाए, आए दो कयामत आए तू जिए हजारों साल, ये मेरी है आरज़ू।
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
बिपिन भाई,
Happy birthday to you.
बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, क्या मिसाल दूं मैं तेरी नाम लूं मैं किसका। नहीं नहीं ऐसा हंसी कोई नहीं है जिस पे ये नजर रुक जाए, बेमिसाल जो कहलाए तू जिए हजारों साल, ये मेरी है आरज़ू।
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
बिपिन भाई,
Happy birthday to you.
thank you. Happy birthday, Bipin bhai.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Bipin. Bye.
One more here, one second. सौ साल पहले मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा। सदियों से तुझसे मिलने जिया बेकरार था, वो जिया बेकरार था, आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा। 100 साल पहले मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा। तुम रूठा ना करो मेरी जान निकल जाती है, तुम हंसती रहती हो तो एक बिजली सी चमक जाती है। तुम रूठा ना करो मेरी जान निकल जाती है, तुम हंसती रहती हो तो एक बिजली सी चमक जाती है। मुझे जीत जियो दिल भर तेरा इंतजार था, तेरा इंतजार था, आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा। सदियों से तुझसे मिलने जिया बेकरार साल पहले मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, मुझे तुमसे प्यार था, आज भी है और कभी भी। Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely.
Oh, that was really
Thank you.
nice, Iqbal bhai. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shukriya.
Fantastic, Iqbal.
Yeah, wow, 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 wow.